coverage of the voter registration weekend around the country. Let's cross live to our reporter Mariska Botha, who's in Belville at one of the voting stations. Mariska, very good morning to you. Do tell us what is currently happening there. I can see that the IEC officials are in full swing. It looks like the voting station that you're at, things are going by smoothly.
Indeed, Alicia, people are working very hard here. This is, of course, the nerve center of the IEC in the Western Cape here in Belville. And we spoke to the Provincial Electoral Commissioner, Courtney Sampson, a little bit earlier, and he was telling us that so far everything is going very smoothly. Of course, here they ensure that there's no problems out at the voting stations, that all the officials pitched up for work. And they tell us, indeed, that there are tens of thousands of officials out in the field, busy working, ensuring that people can come and check whether their addresses are correct. Of course, this weekend is all about making sure that all the addresses on that voters roll is in place and is correct. And they say they are open for people to come and register for the first time. But of course, they're asking the public to take half an hour out of their day, come to a voting station, which should be around the corner from where you live, and just check that your address is correct on that voters roll and that it's the proper thing.
All right.
Also in the Western Cape, we've got about 3 million registered voters, and of that 3 million, 2.8 million addresses have been confirmed.
Mariska, do tell us, we've been hearing quite a large number of voting stations that will be open. I've just spoken to a reporter in the Free State. They have about 1,531. What is your count that side?
We've got 1,583 voting stations that are open. That is all the voting stations in the province as it will be on election day. So it's a good run for people to also know where their voting stations are when they go to vote next year, to know exactly where their voting stations are. So it is open, it is running, it's in your schools, your churches. There's also makeshift voting stations if need be, but over 1,500 across the province, open and ready for business.
All right, and Mariska, have you seen any political parties campaigning also to try and woo those voters, eligible voters, to go and register for their details in order for them to make their mark come election day next year?
Some of our other colleagues in the province are busy engaging with those political leaders, but most definitely they are out in full force. And I think right now the message is for people to know that they have a right to vote. It's such an important right. It's enshrined in the Constitution. It's one of the cornerstones of our democracy. So certainly all political leaders will be out in full force to get people to go to their voting stations, register if they haven't, first of all, and then number two, check that their addresses are correct so that next year when we come to the election, there won't be any glitches or problems.
All right, and Mariska, before I let you go, just in totality, what are some of the outstanding issues that the IEC might be facing? Like, for example, we heard during the previous registration process that some people that come from informal settlements did not have addresses. Has that issue of proper addresses or getting a church or something that is a landmark next to you, has that been sorted out for that province?
That's good, very good that you highlight that, Alicia, because that's exactly what Courtney Sampson said to us earlier. Ensuring that the people from formal areas, their addresses are in place and correct is easy enough. It is the places where people live in informal areas where there might be a problem, and that's why they also have officials on the ground engaging with people, especially in informal areas, to explain to them how the process works, what they need to do to ensure that their address is captured. So that is actually the crucial part and the drive of this weekend, as Mr. Courtney Sampson said, is to ensure that those people, especially in the informal areas, understand exactly how it works, understand what they need to bring to be able to register and to check their addresses, and then of course for the IEC to ensure that it's properly checked and properly captured in the system.
All right, Mariska, just one more time, do give us that list. What should the people that are coming to update or register their details, what do they need to bring to those registration offices?
Well, of course, you need your barcoded ID or your new ID card, and then some proof of address to show that where you live, something that can assist in proving that you live in this area, this is where you've been for however long, and then the IEC will help you. Of course, if you don't come with the right documents, the IEC will tell you exactly what it is you need to bring, and then you can certainly come back. And of course, the IEC went out of their way a few years ago to ensure that we will never see those long queues, and they have increased the number of voting stations. So your voting station should be around the corner from where you stay, so it shouldn't be too hard, if you don't have the correct documents, to go fetch them and make your way back and ensure that your address is correct.
All right, and with is there a special recommendation here? Do you know, Mariska, where do you know if of course the Home Affairs offices will be open for longer, particularly during this weekend of voter registration? You got that, Mariska? All right, Mariska, I was asking, do you know if the Home Affairs offices will actually be open for longer, just to try and assist those people that have lost their IDs, that want to try and, of course, register for new IDs before the voter registration weekend actually is up?
Well, that's of course a very important aspect, is to have an ID document to prove that you are a resident and so on. That's certainly one of the aspects we'll check out. It would make sense to ensure that there are Home Affairs offices open for longer, to give people the chance to get their IDs and to make sure that they are able to go to those voting stations and register.
All right, Mariska, well, I see you're in the right place. I hope all your details have been verified and updated. We'll definitely keep touching base with her. That is our reporter joining us from a voting station out in Belville in Cape Town, Mariska Botha. It is this weekend is the IEC's voter registration week. We will be bringing you rolling coverage of all those across the provinces and find out also where you can also go and verify and update your details. Let's take a quick ad break. I'll be back with your news just now.